Welcome. We're going to have to reconvene back into finance. We just got out of executive session. Mr. Shields?
We came out of executive session at 7:09 PM. I'll make a motion to adjourn Finance Committee.
Second?
All in favor to adjourn finance?
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned for finance. At this time, I'd like to call the May 12th, 2025 council meeting to order. So if you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Coin.
Here.
DeSalvo.
Here.
Hare.
Here.
Rose.
Here.
Shields.
Here.
Simmons.
Here.
Simpson.
Reading of the minutes.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
I'll make a motion to approve the April 28, 2025 regular meeting minutes as prepared and submitted by the clerk.
Second?
Any discussion on the minutes? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the minutes?
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Reports of standing committees. The Finance Committee met prior to Finance this evening and will meet again in 2 weeks. And every item on the agenda is from the Finance Committee, so that makes it easy. Health, Safety, and Sanitation, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, nothing to report.
Public Properties, Mr. Shields.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, no report this evening.
Special Legislation, Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, nothing to report.
Streets and Sidewalks, Ms. Hare.
Thank you, Mr. President. No scheduled meeting and nothing to report.
Water and Utilities, Mr. Simmons.
Nothing to report. Utility Rate Review Committee will meet on Monday, the 19th.
Emerging Technologies, Mrs. DeSalvo.
Thank you, Mr. President. There are no meetings planned and nothing to report at this time.
Thank you. Request for council action. We have several items for the Finance Committee. 25107 budget amendments, 25108 bids for job number 1168 Granger Road water line, 25109 easement job number 1168 Granger Road water line, 25110 bids job number 1165 2025 concrete street repair, 25111 increase PO 2025 1004 right traffic control, 25112 ODNR grant application for outdoor fitness equipment MCRC, and 25113 discussion Weymouth Road State Route 3 ODOT resurfacing project. Reports of municipal officers. Mayor Hamwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. The 2024 annual report is available on the city website, or we also have paper copies for the public to come in and look over at the council office and the mayor's office during city hall hours. A great deal of information there for anybody who wants to review it. On this past Friday, May 9th, Fire Chief Larry Walters graduated from the Ohio Fire Executive Leadership Program in Columbus. This was an over 2-year intensive leadership curriculum. I was able to attend that, and I wanted to congratulate the chief publicly on that and all the work that was involved on it. I know the council has, and I have, received phone calls and emails about the protests on our square in the historic district, and there seems to be some misunderstandings. First of all, it's a constitutional right. They don't have to get approval or a permit from the city. The sidewalks in the public park are public places, and the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled repeatedly that they cannot be restricted or limited on certain days, on frequencies, or holidays like Mother's Day, as these rights and the Constitution prevail on all these days. I had a call today that a person thought their own constitutional rights were being violated by being exposed to the protests on the square. And I found this: generally constitutional rights in the United States, like those guaranteed by the Bill of Rights, primarily restrict government action and not private individuals. This means a citizen's constitutional rights can be violated by the government, but not directly by another citizen, unless that citizen is acting under the color of law or in concert with government actors, which is not the case of what we're experiencing. And then last on this topic, I, the council members, and the department heads all take an oath to uphold the constitutions and the law, and I will not violate that oath. Myers had their grand opening on May 8th at 9 a.m. I was told they began lining up at 3:30 in the morning for the 6:30 opening. Interestingly enough, the grandson of the founder, Hank Meyer, was present, and I told him of some other renovations that occurred at the other grocery stores on the north end of Medina, as well as the other leases surrounding the Myers store there. They're painting them to match the Myers colors. And when I shared all that with him, his comment was, "I'm not sure if I should be flattered or scared." And I told him I thought the former was more appropriate. And last but not least, square events. We have the farmers market on Saturdays now, May 17th, 24th, and 31st. There's a gospel fest occurring again, May 17th from 2 to 5. Medina City Schools Strings in the Park on May 22nd from noon to 1, weather permitting. Ladies' Night Out on Thursday, May 22nd from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. And then the annual Medina Half Marathon is the Saturday before Memorial Day. In this case, May 24th, it kicks off at 6:45 a.m. until 11 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Durham, Director of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't have anything except I'll address the items that came from finance when we get there.
Mr. Huber, Law Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Mrs. Marshall, Economic Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Since we're talking about ribbon cuttings, I wanted to remind council and the public that our next round of ribbon cuttings is set for this Friday, May 16th. We have 2 events scheduled that day. The first one is at 2 o'clock for Impact Collision, which is a new business located at 539 North State Road. And then at 3 o'clock, we're going to head out to our airport for Coldstream Air Services MX, which is a new aircraft maintenance facility that they have opened there, and the address for the municipal airport is 2050 Medina Road. As always, these are a collaboration with the Medina Chamber of Commerce and Main Street Medina, and we hope that you will be able to join us. And just as a reminder on the Impact Collision, their business is booming due to the deer and car collisions, and that is a true story. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Kinney, Police Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're proud to announce our official acceptance into the Ohio Collaborative Law Enforcement Accreditation Program. This program is developed by the Ohio Collaborative Community Police Advisory Board. It sets the statewide standards for best practices in law enforcement, focusing on policies related to use of force, recruitment, bias-free policing, community engagement, and officer accountability. We're especially honored to be among the first group of departments statewide to be accepted following the conclusion of the initial pilot phase. Our participation reflects our continued commitment to transparency, professionalism, and community trust. This achievement demonstrates that our policies and practices meet or exceed the benchmarks established by the state for ethical, effective, and community-oriented policing. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gladish, Building Official.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now that we are in the start of the grass growing season, I want to take a minute to talk about the city's tall grass and weed ordinance. Any grass or weeds in excess of 6 inches in height on any lot, whether improved or unimproved, is considered a violation. The building department is responsible for the enforcement. Our goal is to achieve compliance in a friendly way by first talking with the property owner. If we cannot get compliance, the violation notice is then put in writing. If compliance is not achieved after written notice, we then hire our third-party landscape contractor to cut the grass and weeds. Once cut, the city will then assess the property owner's property taxes for the cost of the landscaper's fees and any legal costs. The goal is for everyone to be proud to live in their neighborhoods in the city. That ends my report.
Thank you, Mr. Pacoli, Service Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. The asphalt resurfacing on West Friendship went very well. We'll be concentrating on Wadsworth Road, right up between Lafayette and Springbrook. It's a little rough there, so we'll be hitting that area next. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rowley, Parks and Recreation Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just one update. Our pools and splash pad will be open Saturday, May 24th for the season. Operating hours at Fred Greenwood Park are 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. and at Ray Mallard Park, 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. And the pool hours vary depending on programs, but generally we open at 11 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Patton, City Engineer.
Thank you. I have no report this evening.
Chief Walters, Fire Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you, Mr. Dutton, Planning and Community Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. The city's planning commission received an application to rezone 5.9 acres on the north side of East Washington Street between Woodland Drive and Glenshire Lane across from the hospital. At their May meeting, the commission recommended approval of the request to rezone the property from R1 low-density residential to R4 multifamily residential. The rezoning request will be forwarded to council for review at an upcoming meeting. In addition, I'll note that the request requires council to hold a public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. Notices, communications, and petitions, there are none. There's no unfinished business. Introduction of visitors. Members of the public will be permitted the opportunity to speak on any issue or concern which pertains to the city during a portion of the council agenda devoted to introduction of visitors. All comments shall be directed to the chair, and a reasonable time limit of approximately 5 minutes will be imposed. If there's a group, please appoint a spokesperson. Speakers should approach the rear microphone and state their name and address so it can be entered into the minutes. Members of the public will be afforded the opportunity to comment on other portions of the meeting as determined by the chair or by a vote of the majority of council members present. Is there anybody that wishes to address council at this time? Going once? No? Okay. Introduction and consideration of ordinances and resolutions. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings on the following ordinances and resolutions. Resolutions 8625, ordinance 8725, 8825, 8925, 9025, 9125, 9225, 9325, 9425, 9525, and finally, ordinance 9625.
Mr. President.
Mr. Shields?
I move to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings of tonight's ordinance and resolutions.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion to suspend the rules on 3 readings? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Hare.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Resolution 8625, a resolution authorizing the submission of an application for grant assistance from the Ohio Department of Development, Office of Community Development, in connection with the Small Cities Fiscal Year 25 Community Development Block Grant.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Dutton?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is our biannual request to apply for and accept Community Development Block Grant funds, or CDBG funds. This round, we'll be applying for 2 activities. One will be Medina County Public Transit for $75,000. The second for code enforcement in low to moderate income areas for $45,000. It also includes $5,000 for fair housing and $25,000 for administration for a total of $150,000. Thank you.
Any further discussion on the resolution? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Resolution 8625 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 8725, ordinance amending section 13301 of the codified ordinances of the city of Medina, Ohio, relative to the city association memberships.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Who's this for? Oh, Mr. Pacoli, that's you.
Thank you, Mr. President. This cooperative purchasing program is referred to HGAC by, stands for Houston Galveston Area Council. It's a cooperative purchasing national government procurement service, gives the city additional opportunity for comparative pricing, and there is no cost for the membership. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Shields.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Ordinance 8725 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 8825, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept a water line easement for the construction of job number 1181, South Court Water Main Loop.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. President.
Mr. Shields.
The emergency clause requested, I move to add at this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the emergency clause in the ordinance. Mr. Patton.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is in line with our project to replace or to complete a water line loop on South Court Street between our water tower and High Point Drive. In order to accomplish this, we've found the best route would be actually going through the Acme property. So in this case, Albrecht will be granting the city an easement so we can install the water line. Asking for the emergency clause because we've already bid and awarded the project and would like to get it done before Acme opens in early July.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the ordinance and or the emergency clause? Will the clerk please call the roll on adoption of the emergency clause?
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on adoption of the ordinance?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Ordinance 8825 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 8925, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to grant an access and landscape easement at the South Court Street Water Tower site.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. President.
Mr. Shields.
The emergency clause has been requested, I move to add at this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the emergency clause and the ordinance. Mr. Patton.
Thank you, Mr. President. In this case, the city will be granting Albrecht an easement. They'd like to install their driveway connection onto State Route 3. The best location for that will encompass crossing part of our water tower property. In this case, we are the grantor. Asking for the emergency clause because in order to make this happen, some utility poles have to be moved, and the Albrecht would like to have some sense of confidence that the easement has been granted before they start the process that involves the large payment to Ohio Edison. So,
Thank you. Any further discussion on the ordinance and or the emergency clause? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 8925 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 9025, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a construction agreement with Albrecht, Inc. regarding the High Point Drive widening.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. President.
Mr. Shields.
The emergency clause has been requested, I move to add at this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on both the ordinance and emergency clause. Mr. Patton.
thank you, Mr. President. Albrecht, as part of their site plan approval, will be widening High Point Drive to install a turn lane in a westbound direction into their property. This will become city pavement, city street. So we have this construction agreement which basically requires Albrecht to install the improvements to our standards. We like the emergency clause because they are prepared to get started as soon as possible.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance.
Shields.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Ordinance 9125 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 91,
I'm
Wait.
sorry, 9025.
oh yeah, you got me confused there for a moment. Ordinance 9125, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a location release and video content release between the City of Medina and American Dream Media and Tech Holdings LLC.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. President.
Mr. Shields.
The emergency clause has been requested, I move to add at this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the emergency clause and the ordinance. Mr. Worley.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is authorization for the mayor to sign a release. So a promotional video can be recorded at the Medina Recreation Center by American Dream Media. It's a nationally recognized streaming show that is hosted by realtors to highlight their communities, and they would like to showcase the rec center. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the ordinance and or the emergency clause? Clerk, please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance.
Hare.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Ordinance 9125 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 9225, ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a lease agreement between the City of Medina and the Medina Metropolitan Housing Authority to renovate and use the property located at 135 North Elmwood Avenue.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Mayor Hamel?
Thank you, Mr. President. So this is a three-year agreement that we've negotiated with Skip Sipos, who's the executive director for Medina Metropolitan Housing, to use the existing municipal court once the municipal court is relocated to the square, which we're projecting to be in the spring of 2026, and the sooner the better. The lease permits us to continue to use the basement for storage, which the city needs. I've heard again through some public comments and rumors, a question of why would the city lease without charging rent when the city's paying rent for the 1969 building on the square. The fact of the matter is the city would have to maintain and upkeep that building if we did not lease it, which today costs us about $2,000 a month or $24,000 a year. If we charged $1 a square foot and it's 13,500 feet, that would be much less than the 24,000 that we're saving. Additionally, there seems to be a misunderstanding that the MMHA is a part of the county, and the Metropolitan Housing Authority was established in 1953, and it's an independent political subdivision of the state of Ohio. So the Ohio law permits one political subdivision to work with another political subdivision to create a common good for both of the entities. So it's saving us money, saving us maintenance, saving us impact. But probably the most important thing in my mind is the folks that need the services of the Medina Metropolitan Housing Authority are generally in the northwest sector of our city, predominantly. Some of those folks don't have driver's licenses. Some of them would need to walk or take a bicycle. So by accommodating it here in close proximity to City Hall and within Ward 1, in my mind, makes the best sense for the city and our constituents. And I'd respectfully ask for council's approval of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Ordinance 9225 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 9325, ordinance accepting the appraisal's fair market value estimate for the Prospect Street Bridge project.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion of the emergency clause and the ordinance. Mr. Patton?
Thank you, Mr. President. The council might remember we were recipients of about a $1.7 million grant from ODOT, through ODOT, for the Prospect Street Bridge replacement. As part of that project, in order to build it, we need to acquire these 4 easements. By authorizing this, we will be granting O.R. Colon, who is our agent, the right to make these offers. Asking for the emergency clause because since it is an ODOT project, we have certain milestone dates we'd like to hit. The right-of-way is one of the leading dates, so we request emergency clause.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the emergency clause or the ordinance? Clerk, please call the roll on the adoption of emergency clause.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 9325 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 9425, ordinance authorizing the mayor to grant a utility easement to Ohio Edison to allow for the construction of electrical facilities.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the emergency clause and the ordinance. Mr. Patton?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the third and final easement regarding the Acme project. In this case, the city will be granting an easement to Ohio Edison. They need to relocate some of their utility poles in order to allow for the construction deceleration lane into the property.
Any emergency clause?
And the emergency clause, because Albrecht, as mentioned before, would like to get started on this as soon as possible.
Okay. Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll on adoption of emergency clause.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call the roll on adoption of the ordinance.
Hare.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Ordinance 9425 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 9525, an ordinance amending ordinance number 20924, passed November 25th, 2024, amendments to the 25 budget.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. One's a pass-through of a donation, and the other two are adjustments for damage that had to be repaired.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Ordinance 9525 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 9625, an ordinance creating new chapter 1347, comprehensive stormwater management, chapter 1349, erosion and settlement control, and chapter 1351, illicit discharge and illegal connection control of the codified ordinances of the city of Medina, Ohio, and repealing the existing section 134104, plans and maps required for improvements, erosion control.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Pat?
Thank you. The city, I think as council knows, is required to obtain and maintain a permit through the Ohio EPA for stormwater management. This is a 5-year permit. Our program got audited by the EPA last summer, and one of their notes that we got hit on was that we did not have these ordinances in place. Most communities, if not all communities in Ohio, have similar type ordinances already codified. In practice, it doesn't change a whole lot. There's some minor tweaks certainly, but what these ordinances require, we've already been practicing. It just, the big thing, it gives us penalty, a little bit of teeth to go after people that may not be following our code exactly.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Mr. President?
Mr. Rose?
Yes, thank you. At the finance meeting, about 4 weeks ago or so, I had asked that this particular, the ordinance or the rules and regulations of this were codified through the state, and Patrick said he would show me, and he did. He brought it up to me before I went home that night, so thank you very much for your quick action and information. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
John, can we pass this subject to my approval? I'm not sure this is being formatted the way I had talked about it being done. I don't have a copy of what is actually being proposed, so I want to take a look at it before it becomes an ordinance.
Yes, Mr. Huber. Any other questions?
I'll amend my motion to include subject to final approval of the law director.
Second.
Any further discussion on the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on adoption of the ordinance as amended?
Shields.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Ordinance 9625 passes 7-0, subject to the law director's approval.
Ordinance 9725, an ordinance amending ordinance number 8125 passed April 28th, 2025 pertaining to the US 42 resurfacing project, job number 1151.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Patton?
Yes, sir. Council previously approved the ordinance which allows us to bid this project. This is the resurfacing of US 42 from Homestead down to Lafayette, including the square and also the pedestrian safety enhancements. However, that last ordinance did not include the financial information. This ordinance will.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance.
Simmons.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Ordinance 9725 passes 7-0.
Council comments. Mr. Simpson?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple things. Congratulations to Chief Walters for his educational accomplishments. You make Medina proud. Chief Kinney, your accreditation for your department speaks a lot for your entire department and you, so congratulations. Other than that, just remember to be kind to one another. Thank you.
Ms. Hare?
Ditto on that, but also, it has been brought to my attention that people have been putting their trash cans out in the tree lawn days before pickup. So I just want to remind people to please wait until the night before. I can tell you that we have nice-sized raccoons that live in the catch basins on my street, and I'm not putting my stuff out because they'll get into everything. Can I pester Nino to just touch on the ordinance for that, please?
Absolutely. So if there's an issue, usually we contact the party and then have a discussion. So we really don't have an ordinance that limits people from putting it out sooner, but a conversation usually takes place and then it's resolved.
Okay, thank you. That's all I got.
Mr. Simmons?
We had a very nice, hosted Ella Canavan, the fourth graders, to Spring Grove Cemetery to look at the Network to Freedom as they're studying history. And they had a pleasant surprise to find out that the gravestone of Ella Canavan, the actual person, is right there by the can fields. So the students were very excited to see that.
Thank you. Anybody else on this side? Mr. Rose?
Thank you, Mr. President. Congratulations to Chief Walters and to Chief Kinney for showing us how leadership works. Thank you very much. I appreciate the fine efforts there. And on a kind of a sad note, but not really, Jim's Barbershop over here next to Sully's, Jim's retiring at the end of the month. So go and wish him well. You know, take a lollipop from him or something like that. But he's been my barber for, I don't know, 20 years maybe. Yes, I do get a haircut, John.
What are you going to
try
do?
it. You should try it. I don't know. I won't go to yours. But yeah, wish him well. And he's going to be missed. He's going to be missed. And then to tie in with what the mayor said about the protests and things like that, people are out there protesting, or they want to protect democracy. Anybody want to take a guess at what the voter turnout was on May 6th? Less than 14%. That's where your democracy is going. People not showing up to vote. So you had less than 14% of the voters telling you what you're going to do with your tax dollars. So that out there is just a bunch of hooey. They have no idea what they're thinking about. In fact, they don't even think. They just do what they're told. So you want to protect democracy, vote. Thank you.
100% of the DeSalvo household voted. 100%.
Thank you. I know two households that are 100%.
That's three.
then.
That's three people, not just two people.
Mine too.
I do want to say, just briefly, as the end of the school year approaches, and there's all kinds of parties and events going on, if we can just keep our eye out for our young people so that we help them make good choices and we don't have any of the tragedies that oftentimes occur. I know my seniors' last day is Wednesday this week, and they'll be starting all their senior events. So just try to remind them to be safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All right, meeting is adjourned.